So what about oral sex? So now we're talking about putting your mouth on pussies. What are your top tips for going down on that pussy?
I think the number one thing these guys need to do is be patient, because when it comes to oral sex, when it comes to cunnilingus, to going down on a woman, the way I try to teach guys, right, is imagine a spectrum from, like, say, 0 to 100, right? Along that spectrum, every woman's orgasm is going to fall somewhere. So, but the spectrum is based upon, like, intensity, like pressure, and speed. So some women will orgasm when the pressure is super, super light and the speed is very, very, very slow. Other women will orgasm when the pressure is super intense and the speed is super fast. Somewhere along that spectrum is going to be her sweet spot, right? And your job is to try and get to that sweet spot. The problem is you can't find her sweet spot if you start at the super intense, super hard end of the spectrum. But you can find it if you start at the very, very soft and slow end of the spectrum. And then you can gradually build the intensity and the speed of the pressure you're applying with your tongue to the clitoris as you progress along that spectrum. And eventually, it's going to be very, very obvious when you hit that sweet spot, because she's probably going to say something like, that's it, stop, keep doing that right there. Like any of these kind of phrases she's going to throw out to you to give you an indication of that's exactly what I want you to keep doing. And then all the guy has to do is be really, really patient. And if he's done this enough times, his tongue will have a bit more stamina to it, and he won't have a problem. But another thing I'll throw in there is when he gets to that sweet spot, when he finds that sweet spot, that's also a great opportunity to throw in a second bit of stimulation. So that might be reaching up and playing with the nipples, or that might be inserting a couple of fingers and playing with the G-spot. But once he's reached that spot on the clitoris where he knows, okay, this is the intensity and the speed, the pressure she likes, great. We're patient here, but a way to speed up the process is to apply a second sensation to try and overwhelm the body a little bit.
That's smart. So what's your way, April, for what do you like on your pussy? Like what Sterling's talking about with the slow, and then like fast and hard on the clitoris with the tongue and mouth.
Yeah, actually, how confusing is this? Depends. Sometimes it varies for me, and it will depend on what is happening. Sometimes I'm more sensitive, sometimes I'm not. I do prefer some stimulation with some fingers, sometimes anally. I know this is like my thing. I'm always talking about anal. But
anal April over here.
I never knew how important my butt was until it was incorporated in playtime. But I do like a little slowness at first. And sometimes people forget how important the clitoris is, and they'll like just kind of go around with the fingers and kind of go straight for the vaginal canal.
Hole.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. You got to focus on the external pieces first. That's really important. So what about you, Amy?
Oh, me. Yeah. If you go straight for my hole, we're going to have a problem unless I say stick it in, then listen to me, please. Cause that's what I want. Or it's like, same with like, when it comes to actual penetrative sex, like I want that to also start off slow. Cause if you start jackhammering me, then I'm like, you just oversensitize my pussy. I can't feel anything. I might feel like, I don't know, also like kind of disrespected and unseen. So it's like when I want you to fuck me really hard, I'm going to say fuck me harder, or you can ask me too. But yeah, so I used to not like having someone go down on my pussy very much until like only last couple months. And I think it stems out of my first couple sexual experiences as a teenager where I was having penetrative sex. The people I was having penetrative sex with were not offering or even attempting to go down on me, nor did I feel like I knew how to ask for that. I was just kind of like, okay, I guess this is just what we do. And then when I started to experience it, still we're like, early 20s, no one knows what the fuck they're doing. And I already have this kind of story built in my head and I'm not like used to it. So then it's just ticklish and squeamish. So, up until the last couple of months, I'd say like I've only had under 10 orgasms from oral. And for the most part, oral has been just like a stepping stone to like, now I want your cock inside of me. But it hasn't been something like I could do this all day. I could have your mouth on my pussy all day. Now I'm at that place where I'm like, Like I could have someone going down my pussy all day as long as I feel, aligned with them in that way, like they're skilled in what they're doing. And I generally find this is what I've discovered. And let me know what you think about this, April, and Sterling too. I think what I was doing in a lot of receiving oral sex was being more like, oh, I kind of just like lay here and like moan. But now I'm like grinding my hips into the face.
Hips.
Yeah,
your face fucking. Yeah, that's important.
I'm grinding because I'm moving my body in a way on the face that feels. I'm not exactly face fucking, although yes, I can do that too. But I would probably check in and be like, is this okay? But I'm still kind of like moving with my partner who's moving with me, so that I can get my clit exactly where I want on their face, their lips, and their mouth. What do y'all think about that? Did I figure out some gold?
That's interesting. No, that's good. That also tells me that there's like a pressure thing involved too. Like you're trying to hit a certain spot on the clitoris, and you're trying to apply a certain amount of pressure too. One of the things that I will teach guys is, okay, imagine that I'm looking down the barrel, like as a guy, like the male perspective, right? Imagine a clock, basically where the vagina is, where the clitoris is, I should say, and you kind of want to aim somewhere between 1 to 2 p.m. on the clock.
Seriously, there's something about what is that? Yeah, that's like the general consensus. That side.
That is the general consensus. Yes.
Yeah. The left side.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because I've been saying this for a while. Like for some reason, I don't know. I have no idea why biologically that tends to, across most women, be the sweet spot. Somewhere between 1 to 2 p.m. on the clitoris. Looking at it, that's the sweet spot.
It's like for some, the majority of us are right-handed, so the majority of pussy owners are left.
1 to 2, that would be pleasure. To the right. 1 to 2.
Like if
12.
1,
2.
Wait. If I'm looking at it, yeah.
No, if you're looking at it.
If you're looking, so 12 o'clock, 1, 2.
But it's my left, right? To you.
To your left.
So,
your left, it would be, what's that then? Like
11 and 10.
Yeah.
No. Okay, wait.
11, 10.
My clitoris. So this is my clitoris on my body. I'm so okay. I know. I need to get a clock out.
It is because if it's like 12 o'clock straight up, so then to the left would be 11, 12. If you're counterclockwise, to the right would be 1, 2.
So are we speaking from the giver's perspective? Because those are two different clocks.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the male perspective of going down on a girl.
Yeah, to you it is between 1 and 2.
If the beginning of the clitoris is at 12 o'clock, I'm aiming slightly to my right.
You're right.
1 to 2 p.m. kind of position.
So wouldn't that be our?
It would be your left.
It'd be 11 to 10 to us. Yeah. 11 to 10.
No.
Yeah, counterclockwise.
Really?
Okay.
It's this way. More confusing because the cameras making the
we can all do this at the same time here, but because also there's a different perspective of me facing you and my perspective on my body and you facing me and seeing where that clock is. So those are different things. But you know who said this? Nicole Daedone, who wrote the book Slow Sex, that she created the oming thing. And she said the same thing. There's like this one side, this one area. So well, tomato. I mean, we need to, April and I will practice after this and figure out what.
Yeah,
we're talking
I mean,
about.
if you really want to turn someone off, just start talking about the clock with them and be like, "What is this?" No, I'm just kidding.
And it's not going to work.
No. But I would be like, "Wait, what?" Or don't do the ABCs. So that
ABCs.
is because you gave some great tips for going down in the pussy, but there are a lot of dudes out there, or givers, let's say, doing things that like maybe they should throw out the window, or they need to like fine tune a bit. So what are some things that you can think of that would instantly turn off a pussy owner that's receiving?
I mean, I wouldn't say this would instantly turn her off, but you just mentioned something I have to chime in on, which is like the ABC.
Oh my God. Thank you. No.
But you know what? The only reason that dudes do that is because they heard about it in high school.
Yes.
It's the only reason that, and they didn't hear about it from a chick. They heard about it from another dude. Like,
where did it come from? Why?
It probably come from a Cosmopolitan article sometime in the 80s.
Probably did.
Honestly.
Or it was probably like, we have no idea what to do, so this sounds like a good idea. Like, here's an option.
There's also that. Okay, but what I'll say is, this is not really answering your question, but I feel like I need to say it. So there is an element to the ABC, like going from A to Z on the clitoris. There is an element to it which can be helpful, and that is learning what her particular stroke is But because if you go through all the letters, you're going to be doing a lot of different rhythms, like left to right, up to down, counterclockwise, clockwise, right? A far quicker way of learning what she likes in terms of direction is just watching her masturbate in front of you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Which direction does she move her fingers? Is she moving clockwise, counterclockwise, left, right, up, down? Okay, cool. I'll just copy that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much faster. It's so much quicker. So I think there was maybe at one point there was some intention behind the ABC thing, but it's a trash idea. So stop doing it.
Or like when people are talking about when a lot of penis owners are like, oh, so I'll hold my orgasm by thinking of like baseball stats or some shit. I'm like, no,
grandma,
orgasm if you're feeling the urge.
And I think Thatcher naked on a cold day.
Well, and also, if you're just focusing on one area the whole time, that can be overstimulating too much. So, ABC's, even taking that out, it's also for a lot of folks like stimulating other parts of just this one part. Because if you're just on the head of my clitoris the whole time and be like, too much. I needed to move that around. And same with the head of the cock, right? Like if I was just sucking the head of your cock and that's it, didn't touch anywhere else, that probably would be too much for you or not too super pleasant.
100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. I think, and I think we're talking a lot about oral sex, but I think this is really great advice. I don't see a reason to stop talking about it. When a guy's building up a woman to that, like through oral sex. Again, don't just focus entirely on the one, like that's like the sweet spot, sure. But you don't want to be there like 100% of the time. You do want to occasionally change the rhythm up, play around it, tease around it around the clitoral hood, right? And then dive into the actual vagina a little bit with your tongue. Add these little extra sensations to add to the whole effect. So that when you go back to that sweet spot, it amplifies the experience rather than numbing it. Like you just said, I think that's very, very important for guys to understand. You can, and it's the same reason why you said, oh, if he's jackhammering away the moment he puts his penis in you, it can be a very numbing sensation. And this is true for men and women. This goes both ways. Both sexes need to understand that this goes both ways. Like you can't just. One of my biggest pet peeves is I think maybe we'll talk about this later, but I think a lot of women have been misled by pornography in terms of what guys like when it comes to hand jobs or blow jobs. And they're just jackhammering away, going a million miles an hour, ridiculously fast and aggressive. And it's like, whoa, honey, slow down a second. This thing has nerve endings in it. Like, relax for a minute. Like, it's too aggressive. And I think most people would prefer, okay, let's build it up a little bit. To be a bit patient with it, tease it a little bit, enjoy the process. And that will, I think, for most people, that would create a far more pleasurable experience.